How's it going, YouTube? This is FourthStarTCG, and today I'm going to be doing a different type of video. I'm going to be extending my Let's Talk Pokemon series, but I'm going to be doing it a little more personal. You're going to be seeing my face here, and we're going to be talking about some interesting stuff that I want to talk about. If you guys have seen SM Pratt, he's done a couple of videos like this where he talks about something that's a little more in-depth in the Pokemon card hobby, and I'm going to go into that today. The first thing that I want to talk about is understanding Pokemon card prices. Now, Pokemon card prices are something that are extremely important for everyone. I think everyone, collector, player, no matter what your connection to the Pokemon card hobby is, I feel like it's really interesting and really important for you to understand where Pokemon card prices come from. Why some cards are more expensive than others, why some cards are less expensive than others, why some cards that you might think would be expensive aren't expensive, and why cards that you might not think would be expensive are expensive. So, the main thing that I want to talk about in this video is the difference between a card deriving its value from its playability, its value to the competitive Pokemon TCG player, someone who goes to tournaments, someone who actually plays the Pokemon trading card game, and a collector, someone who just collects the cards, someone who perhaps grades cards, someone who completes sets. And I think there's more players than there are collectors right now, but they're both pretty well represented. So, for example, we know Pokemon cards cost money, of course they do, and old Pokemon cards cost money, new Pokemon cards cost money, but there's a very important distinction between the two. For example, I have old Pokemon card right here. It's a Gem Mint 10 Japanese Typhlosion EX from Miracle of the Desert. This is actually a gift, but I'd say this card maybe has about a $40 value to it. So this card worth $40. Where does the value come from in that card? Well, this can't be used in the Pokemon TCG. First, it's in a PSA graded case, can't be used at all in the Pokemon TCG. Second, it's old, it's been rotated out, it's no longer legal for play in the Pokemon trading card game. You can play in the unlimited, you could probably play in the unlimited format with this card, but I highly doubt it would see any value in the unlimited format where all cards are allowed. Is not something that sees any level of competitive play in the Pokemon TCG. So this card is worthless to any Pokemon TCG player. However, it's not worthless to collectors. A lot of people, for example, this has collectible value because it's a nostalgic card. It reminds people of their childhood. It reminds me of my childhood. So people are willing to pay money for this. Also, it's PSA graded. PSA has verified that this card is a Gem Mint 10. It's in perfect condition or near perfect condition. So that's valuable to a lot of people. This card derives its value entirely from its collectability. That's the only thing that influences this card's value. And you should keep this in mind, because since this card's value is influenced by collectability, it's really only going to go up. There are never going to be any more of this card printed. The ones that are out there, it's probably going to be getting even harder to find as the years go on. So the collectible value of this card will only increase, and therefore, since the collectible value increases, the real value will increase, so the monetary value. So something like this is a good investment to make if you're looking to increase, if you're looking to spend less money now and sell for more money down the road. It's also important if you want to just have a real value assessment on your card, something that will stay as a valuable card. This is PSA graded. Old school cards are something that will hold their value for a long time. However, other things, most newer cards, I'd say anything from the black and white era on, has its value mostly influenced by its playability. Now, that's very different from its collectability. Playability is its value not to collectors, but to Pokemon TCG players. Now, these players, they use cards in games, so therefore the sort of text on the card, for example, I have a Mega Altaria EX here. It's got the attack Mist Purge. What does it do? For 100 damage. And then if it has any special energy attached to it, it does 30 more damage, and you heal 30 damage from each of your Pokemon. So, sounds pretty good. Not really used in the Pokemon TCG. It's not a very good card. So therefore, this card, even though it's a full art card of a Mega, is really not worth that much. It's maybe worth about $5 to $7. However, something like a Shaman EX, very expensive, full art version, probably going for about $50 right now. What makes this full art versus the Shaman full art what accounts for that price discrepancy? It's the playability. Shaman is essential to any Pokemon card deck today, and it's going to be essential for at least the next 2 rotations. This rotation that we're in right now, Roaring Sky, is probably going to be rotated out once we hit this August, but that's still, 8 months away. And then it's going to be valuable and expanded. If expanded stays black and white on, or maybe they rotate that to Next Destinies on, or something like that. Maybe they'll rotate it up to XY on, or something. But even so, Shaman's going to be very valuable and expanded for a long period of time, and Pokemon regional tournaments have been shifted to be expanded, so Shaman's going to be a very expensive card for a long time. However, it won't be expensive forever, and that's something that's important to realize, is that when you get your Shaman, you pay $50 for your Shaman, let's say, and that value stems from its playability. Once that card is no longer playable, once it rotates out of standard, rotates out of expanded, then it's not valuable to those players anymore, so they're not going to want to pay money for it. Therefore, its value will tank. As soon as Shaman EX gets rotated out of standard, it'll see a value drop. As soon as Shaman EX gets rotated out of expanded, it will be completely competitively irrelevant. And it will see its value drop exponentially. I'd say in maybe 3 years, you could get a Shaman EX full art for $10 to $15. It will not be expensive. It will probably be exactly the same price as this Mega Altaria full art, because they'll both have the same competitive value of 0. So newer cards are not a good investment if you're looking to make your money, because, well, I shouldn't say that. Most newer cards are not, because their value stems from their playability. So picking up expensive cards right now that have come out in the past maybe year or two, not exactly a great thing to do if you're looking to make money, because those cards values are mainly built on their playability. However, there are a couple important exceptions to this, namely the Charizards from Flashfire. Those cards are completely terrible playability wise. They're just horrible. No one uses them. However, they're like $40. So you can look at that and you can say that those Charizards will probably increase in value, and their value is not linked to their playability. And this is why I say that it's really important as a collector to understand the Pokemon trading card game and know how to play it, at least on a casual level, because you can look at these cards and you can say, okay, I know where this value is coming from. I know that Shaman is $50 because it's amazing in the Pokemon trading card game, not because it's a fantastically, everyone wants it and it's going to be collectible for years to come. And this is, I can't stress how important this is to realize, because this affects so much. I'm going to be doing a second video on why the Roaring Skies reprint does not matter for collectors, and that'll come up right after this, and I will be referencing this video in that video. So I hope this explains something to you guys. I hope I did something with this video to explain where the value on cards comes from and why it's so important to recognize where that value comes from if you want to make good decisions in buying your cards, if you want your cards to have the value that they have throughout their lifetime. Good investment, PSA graded cards, stuff like this. This is going to be these old cards, anything from maybe 2010 back. Those values are pretty well set in the collectible range. Anything 2010 forward might have a little bit of playability still left in there. I know Darkrai EX, the full art, still has a lot of its playability value in it. The full art from Dark Explorers still has a lot of its playability value in it, but we'll see. I think in 2010's Diamond and Pearl, maybe like 2012 on. Messing up my years here, but hope this video was informative to some of you guys. I will be posting another video on why the Roaring Skies reprint doesn't matter for collectors, and I'll be looking to do maybe some more of these videos, looking to explain some of the sort of more intricate workings of the Pokemon trading card game for collectors and players alike. So thank you guys very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and stick around for more videos.